friends, welcome to the All-Canadian Reptile Girl. I'm Annaliese, and you know, I did try to make a pun about garbage, but it just ended up in the trash. This is Raylan, my adorable little Schneider skink, and today I'm going to be making him a new home out of garbage. Let's get to it. Sorry, Raylan. Okay, so I've had Raylan for almost 6 months. Here is Raylan's current home. It's pretty good, got lots of stuff in there to clamber over, lots of substrate to burrow into, but it doesn't have a lot of height, which is unfortunate because even though he's pretty bad at it, Raylan loves to climb. This was meant to be a temporary home until I saved up enough for a big Exoterra that was going to be nice and tall, giving him twice the height. Cool, right?
So super cool.
Well, I decided to scrap the idea, and instead I'm going to make Raylan a new home out of garbage. Check this out. My dad came across this on his way home from work the other day. It was a day just before garbage day, and this was sitting out on the curb in front of a neighbor's house, and he snapped it up. This is a great find. If you couldn't tell, this is a great find. It's a glass tank that looks to be custom made and well built. That's the kicker. Sometimes they're custom made, but this one's well built. It needs a little cleanup and some minor repair to the door here, as this part is supposed to be in there. I think that this will be a fantastic garbage home for Raylan. And this is not the only bit of garbage that will be making up Raylan's home. It also happens to be yard waste pickup week. Take advantage of that if you're a reptile owner with bioactive enclosures. So a quick walkthrough through the neighborhood yielded some cool branches that will be going in here. This top seems to be very solidly attached. Oscar's not getting through there. And the door is a bit small. So it might be a bit of a problem to get the big branches in there. I'm sure we'll be able to figure it out. It's fine. So I have a garbage tank and some garbage branches to go in there, but we'll still need some supplies to make the ledges and naturalistic backing. And I think I can get that while sort of still playing with the garbage theme. So let's go. Okay, we are here at Restore, and I am now wearing a kindergarten teacher sweater. The pockets are actual mitten shapes. Like they have thumb slots. Anyways, so Restore is a Habitat for Humanity charity store. Basically, it's a construction, hardware, furniture, surplus store. Old tools, leftover lumber, doors, windows, adhesives, furniture, all sorts of stuff that would have been thrown out. See? Garbage. But instead of wasting perfectly good stuff, it is donated here where it is then sold, and proceeds go to Habitat for Humanity. If you have one of these stores where you live, I cannot recommend them enough. I get all sorts of stuff here for builds. Heck, I've even bought furniture here that I've turned into enclosures, and furniture here that I just use in my house. Stuff like heat bulbs for like 50 cents a piece, and timers and extension cords, grout, spray foam, tons of stuff for a fraction of what you'd pay for the exact same stuff at a hardware store. The only drawback is that because it's a surplus, their inventory is not consistent, so you kind of just need to pop in regularly just to see what they have that you might one day need. And if they have the stuff that you need, grab it while you can, because it might be a while before you see it here again, or ever. Okay, let's go see what we can get today. Haunted. Anything that looks like a rock in my enclosures that I build, that's obviously not an actual rock, is this. So all of the things in the background that look like rocks, I used to use plaster of Paris, now I use grout, and obviously I always seal it. I just use a Reptile safe sealant with it. So this stuff really is quite good. It's more durable than plaster of Paris too, I found, especially against bigger lizards like Jub. Yeah, it's great, and this is what I use in pretty much all of my backgrounds now. This bag of grout right here is $20. Up the street at Rona, this exact same bag of grout would be $60. And even these smaller boxes are only $5, which, you know, elsewhere these would be like $20, $25. So this is still an incredible value. Now, the only issue is sometimes you don't get the colors that you want, but this one is actually pretty good. It's called Earth. So we're gonna actually get this one. I'm probably gonna make Dad carry it because it's heavy, but Yeah, definitely just go to Restore. This is 40 bucks more anywhere else. So yeah. Okay, so whenever I'm here, I like to stock up on bulbs. And these work great for heat lamps. Like this one, which is a 45 watt, is only $1.50. That is incredible. Now, usually you'll only find those smaller ones. However, you can also find ones like this, which is a 65 watt, and it is $1. An issue with these though is that you don't know exactly how long they're gonna last. Maybe they're gonna last for a few months. Maybe they're only gonna last a week. So you could probably get like 10 of these with how cheap they are, and even if half of them burn out, they'll still be way cheaper. You'll still be better off than if you just bought one bulb from a Reptile shop of the exact same wattage. It's like a light bulb lottery, which, you know, has better value than the regular lottery. So I would go with this one, this lottery. Okay, so we are back from Restore. We got a couple of things here. So between this we got today and other garbage I've gotten from Restore in past visits, and the logs that I collected from yard pickup week, I think with all of this, I'm set. So here's my plan. Because this has a door at the back, over on that side, not this side, I can't really cover it all with spray foam for the backing, so I'm going to build my backing more on the sides. I guess that just makes it siding then. I'm going to have a series of ledges and tunnels that I can span with the smaller logs to allow Raylan to kind of climb as high as he'd like. I'm just gonna kind of start building and see where that gets me. But before we do any of that, the first step is going to be to get this sand out of here and clean up the whole thing. In hindsight, I probably should have put the cleaner edge towards the camera, but it's garbage, okay? It's garbage, it's disgusting. This is the reality of it. That's what you get to see. Let's clean it up and make it all good and nice. Yeah. So here it is. Okay, you can't see it yet because video magic, but it is here. Woo, magic. Look, my arm disappears. What? That wall you see back there? It's not a real wall either. At least not here. It is back there. Not right here though. It's just a picture. Illusions.
Are you done?
Yeah. By the way, this is not Raylan. If you've seen Raylan before, you know this is not he and might be confused. This is still Raylan's enclosure. Well, I mean, what you can't see is still Raylan's enclosure, but Zelda is helping us host right now because it is after 7 o'clock at night and Raylan is getting his sleep. Like some people do beauty sleep, Raylan does chaos sleep so that he can accumulate chaos and reckless abandon for his awaking hours. So that's what he's doing right now. So he couldn't come and help demonstrate for our wall here.
I guess it makes it a surprise for him.
It does make it a surprise for him. That's a good point. I'll let you see this in a bit, but for the build itself, it was pretty straightforward. If you've seen some of my other builds or those of other Reptile YouTubers, you probably know the drill by now. I've got to apologize that I didn't record a whole lot of the build itself. We all got COVID and it wiped us out. And what should have taken, I don't know, 2 or 3 days, took almost 2 months to actually get done. And filming it all, not just like the actual building of it. On top of it, it was just a bit too much. This might be the longest video I've ever spent like the most amount of time doing from start to finish. I think the first bit I ever filmed for this video was in September. It was New Year's Day yesterday. Happy New Year's. In any case, for building up the backing, you can just build up layers of spray foam on the walls and around the branches and just let it set. If anything is loose, once it has set, just add more foam. Like I said, it's pretty straightforward. Now, I didn't have enough spray foam from one of my last trips to Restore to do it all with garbage. So I did admittedly have to go out and buy some from a proper store, but the Rona I bought it from was closing. Well, it is closed now, but it was closing then. So everything was on clearance, and therefore I'm going to count that as still on the theme of garbage. You know, it's my video. If I can alter reality to make it look like a 3-foot enclosure isn't right here, I think I can make up the rules as I go. Once the foam is set and the branches are secure, it's time to start carving. This is the part where my dad gets upset at having to shave off and discard, I don't know, $60 worth of foam, but you do really actually need that extra material to be able to shave back and create enough ledges with enough depth and levels and contours and all of that. To quote Bob Ross, "This is your world. Carve these however you see fit." Personally, I like the blocky, straight ledges and the hard cuts. I think it'll give Raylan better purchase while climbing, and he needs all of the help he can get, but it's also quicker and easier to carve, and the straight facets make for better surfaces for the grout to adhere to, but you do you, boo. Again, as already stated, it's your happy little world. Do what you want. Once the carving is done, it's time to slap on some grout. You can slap it on with a putty knife, however, I prefer to use my hands. It just kind of helps make sure it gets in all the cracks and the crevices. Gloves are a good idea here though. Once it's dry, it's time to add some decor. I like to put in some real rocks on some of the ledges. It adds a bit more realism, and the rocks will hold heat better than the grout-covered foam, which makes them great for basking. And you want that. That is very important. In more tropical setups, I'd have lots of moss and cocoa fiber slapped on here, but this is a more arid home, so just a tiny bit of moss and sand to cover the acrylic I use to secure the rocks is all that's really needed. A few smears of acrylic caulking covered with sand here and there, and little sprays of acrylic paint just to break up the monotony of the color, and we're good to go. So when you heard acrylic caulking, you might be thinking, hey, I thought only 100% silicone was the only safe option to use. Yeah, no. Silicone is safe, no argument there. If you use silicone, you're good as long as you give it enough time to properly cure, which you should do no matter what you're working with. Acrylic, like this Dab 230, is a-okay and actually has some advantages over silicone in both how it behaves and aesthetically, which makes it my go-to goop to use in builds. It's also way cheaper. I go into all of that information on why it's better, why it's worse, all of that in this video here if you're interested on learning more. So that's that. I tucked in a few air plants just to add a bit of greenery and we're good to go. Oh, you actually want to see the whole thing. Okay. Woo! Abracadabra. There you go. I've got various ledges and levels to bask from both the logs and the ledges on the sides, so Raylan will be able to get whatever temperature he wants. He can easily zip across these logs. There's a little jumpy bit if he's feeling bold, and he always is. There's lots of grippy surfaces to climb. There's little crevices to hide in if he wants. I think he's really gonna like it. Now, all we need to do is get this upstairs, put some substrate, plants, cork, water dishes, and hides in. He'll need some lights too, but we've already got another garbage solution for that. So, let's get this upstairs.
What?
That's you.
What, me?
Yeah. I can't carry this. It weighs a ton.
That's
Okay, so we have now burdened the tortoises with the task of babysitting Raylan while we empty out his enclosure. And then we just have to bring his old enclosure, put it up here. We'll use this dirt that's in his current enclosure, but we will have to add a little bit more stuff to it. It's just a mixture of cocoa fiber and play sand, if you're wondering. So in his new enclosure, we will be actually adding plants, which is something he did not have in here other than the moss and lichen growing on this little log. However, those were not really intentional. This will have some intentional plants. A couple that are from my mom's office, and one that I'm not sure it'll actually take. It's from another enclosure, and in that enclosure was a bit stunted. It didn't have really enough room to grow. I don't personally have very high hopes for it, but we'll see.
If he dies, he dies.
The decor we'll use in his new enclosure as well. Some of his favorite sticks are already in that enclosure, and he has been bereft of them for a little while now. They are more logs than sticks. They're like this one, but bigger. This one grows mushrooms. Something cool about it. Just figured if anyone likes to know about that, this one grows mushrooms. It's also leaking sand everywhere. So I'm gonna get this in there. We'll empty this all out, and then we will come back for the next step.
One eternity later.
Okay, so we've emptied out most of the sand. However, there is on the back, on the outside back of Raylan's enclosure, there's like a little collage thing I have. And you know, it's of memories I've had of the past couple years with the reptile YouTubers and just people in this hobby. I'm gonna have to move that as it won't really fit on Raylan's new enclosure. I might be able to put it on the side of Callie, actually. Yeah, I'll figure it out later. We'll find somewhere to put it. But yeah, for now, let's get this thing off and replace it with the new one. All right, so the first thing we need to do is get all of Raylan's old dirt and new dirt into this enclosure now that it's up here. And then we can work on the decorating, where we want our plants, where we want the extra sticks, his hide, his water dish, his food dish, all of those things. So let's get started with that. Don't know if you can see or not, but he is hiding in the hide on the shelf watching us. He's supervising this whole thing, which is quite nice, and he's finally stopped his reign of destruction and terror upon the tortoise enclosure. I think I'm too tall for this enclosure, and that's the first time I've ever said that, so yeah, let's get the dirt in here. I don't know if you guys can see me here. There's a lot in the way now. I hope you can. I'm gonna assume you can. Maybe this is better. This plant right here might seem really spiky and dangerous for Raylan to fall on, but it's actually quite squishy and it's not gonna hurt him. This is good. I just need to come around and look from the front angle. I'm gonna do that. Hold on. Oh, that is good. Huh.
You sound surprised.
Well, for constructing it from the back, I've never done that in an enclosure before. It's always been like, if it's a front opening enclosure, I'm designing it from the front, or I'm designing it from the top. I've never designed it from the back. I'm gonna sweep the floors because there's a lot of stuff down there. I'm going to take some footage of Raylan being ridiculous in his new enclosure. Enjoy that whilst I sweep the floor. Enjoy Raylan being, well, Raylan. Okay, it's set up and we have moved Raylan in. I'm sure you have just seen a bunch of footage of him running around and acting crazy and enjoying his new enclosure, but as of right now, less than 5 minutes after we put him in, he's still a little bit unsure and he's very tired. He already had a chaotic day, so he's a little sleepy and a little stressed, but he will settle right in. He has already climbed up to the top to bask, so I think it's all good signs. And speaking of going to the top to bask, we've got heat and UVB up there. The bulbs are new, but the fixtures, garbage, sort of. My friends Mike and Bree from the Jungle Vault had a bunch of old fixtures, timers, water dishes, hides, food dishes, just other stuff that they just had sitting around collecting dust in a bin, and asked if I wanted it as they had no use for them and were going to toss them out. I gladly accepted, and they brought the great big bin of this stuff garbage to an expo over the summer. Mike and Bree, you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for giving this to me. Your equipment has had now a second life with Raylan and some of my other scaly friends. Let's take stock. Raylan has a ton more space. Check. He seems to love it. So far. Check. It's mostly made out of garbage or repurposed material, so check. It looks great. Check. I think that this was a huge success overall, and I'm very happy that Raylan likes it, I like it, we all seem to like it. I think I did a great job of building it from the back instead of the front like I always do, or from above like I always do. So I think I did great there. Yeah. While I got a lot of this stuff free or on the cheap, it still would not have been possible without the support of my friends on Patreon. These folks here, along with those in other Patreon tiers, helped make Raylan's new home possible. Raylan and I both thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thanks to you all for watching. Let me know what you think of the enclosure in the comments. Like the video if you liked the video, or Raylan's shenanigans, or the enclosure. And remember, until next time, to nurture all nature. Bye. And recycle. Yes, you. Hi. Do you want to come say hi? Raylan, come here. Come here. Is he gonna listen? Oh. Hi. Hi, beautiful. Oh, sweetheart. Oh. Hey, he used the jump. Good job, bud. Am I roughly in the same spot?
Yeah, tiny, lead it this way.
Oh yeah, I feel my feet warms.
There you go. Your feet warms.
Yeah, the spot where I was standing, where it's warm on the ground from my feet. And it's either that I can see that there's like a slightly damp outline, or it's that I can feel it, the warmth.
Why are you the way you are?
Oh, who knows? Thank you, Agatha. Thank you for putting up with the boy. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for clicking on my video out of all the videos that are on here. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.
Good job, Chat Chat.
Not really.